Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Piero Cannas, chairman of the Italian Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Poland, and welcome to the webinar Poland and Silesia, the right location for business and foreign automotive investments. As all of us know, we are in the middle of a very unique period in our life, where the pandemic has changed all our paradigm. And we are trying to understand which will be the near future. All of us, the scientists and whatever, are saying that we have to be prepared starting from September from a new wave. We hope that instead of having a new wave or a second wave of pandemic, we will have a new wave of ensuring investment from outside to Europe, especially in the automotive sector, because this appears in this month a new trend. A lot of European companies that have invested in the past in China and India and whatever are really rethinking their strategy, and they are really reevaluating the possibility to ensuring their production in EU. In this potential scenario, of course, Poland, as the webinar say, is probably one of the best places to invest in Europe due to its particular economic situation, due to an automotive sector already very structured, that of course is suffering as any other automotive sector in the world, but as a solid fundamental. And we think that Poland, and inside Poland especially the special economic zone of Katowice, is one of the best places to invest. We are very honored today to have with us Matteo Surikawa, Vice President of the Special Economic Zone of Katowice, and I remember to our guest that has been ranked in the second special economic zone in the world. And we have also Gregor Szwonkowski of the Policy Investment Trade Agency Executive Vice President. Thank you for being with us. Łukasz Górecki, Cluster Manager SA and AM, the automotive cluster of the Katowice Special Economic Zone. Piotr Dębiński of Next Year Automotive, and Yasukazu Ikata and Piotr Słowik of NGK Ceramic Polska. So thank you for being here. I leave the stage immediately to Luke Palmen, that will moderate the event. Luke Palmen is the Innovation and Cooperation Manager of the Katowice Automotive, the Silesian Automotive Cluster. So thank you very much for being here. And Luke, this is okay for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Piero. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this webinar meeting. I'm your host for today, Luke Palmen, related to the Katowice Special Economic Zone and the cluster Silesia Automotive and Advanced Manufacturing. I would like to give the floor to Matteo Surikawa, Vice President of the Katowice Special Economic Zone, to do a short introduction. Please, Mateusz.
Thank you, Luke. Ladies and gentlemen, it's honor for me to be here with you on our second webinar. Dear friends from Italian Chamber, dear participants, this difficult period is a time to be focused on new solutions in automotive industry, new look on everything that's going on around us. We, as a special economic zone, we are always here to help implement new projects. As we see, this difficult situation all over the world is different in many areas, but we know one very important thing. This is time to think outside of the box and try to research or to solve problems that appear, and try to be focused on new projects. So please let me say one thing. Enjoy the meeting and do not hesitate to ask any questions and cooperate with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mateusz. The first presentation, Mr. Grzegorz Łąkowski from the Polish Investment and Trade Agency, is about Poland as an attractive location for foreign automotive investments. As was already said before, several companies are rethinking their business model, their engagement in international value chains and their positioning in Asia, reconsidering these positions in order to reinvest in Europe. And the question is Poland the real location for new investments, and why? So, Mr. Grzegorz, please, the floor is yours. Your microphone, please.
Hello, can you hear me? Good morning. Hello to everyone. Let me say a few words about Polish Investment and Trade Agency and about possibilities to invest in Poland. We, as many of you, are part of economic development organizations. We play a critical role in business retention and expansion, and we are fully prepared for the rebound in FDI. Which of course will occur when the COVID-19 crisis is over. We can see, as was said just a few moments before, we already see some reshoring in terms of increased interest for investment in Poland. Of course, I cannot tell the details, but big projects are in the background. So, because crisis brings also opportunities to stronger relations with existing investors and local business communities, opportunities to demonstrate the value added that economic development organizations can provide. Now it's the time for us and for foreign investors and local businesses to work together to support each other and to do everything possible to minimize the economic and social costs of this crisis. Let me say a few words about Polish Investment and Trade Agency. We are an agency focused on two main goals. First is FDI support, to which we have very dedicated team. I will show you on the next slides how our team is performing. And the second part, which is dedicated to support an expansion on a global scale of Polish export. We are part of the government group of organizations, so-called Polish Development Fund. Polish Investment and Trade Agency is one of them. Coming back to our organization, we have, regarding FDI, we have very many years supporting foreign investments. You have in the boxes services that we render. And of course, our team will provide you with a dedicated project manager, which will support all the investments that will carry on in Poland. So coming just quickly through all those boxes, we provide tailor-made macroeconomic, HR, legal, and sectorial data packs. So you can ask about any data you need or you expect to make a proper decision regarding your investment. We gave also full information about different forms of public funding. Of course, I will show a very short presentation what is possible, but of course more detailed information you can get on a detailed asking. We of course provide you with a location consulting. We already in our database we have more than like 800
Mr. Grzegorz,
the locations suitable. Yes, can yes.
Mr. Grzegorz, perhaps you can put out your video because there's something with the connection. Maybe it's better to put out the video so that
Okay,
the transmission is better. Okay.
maybe that's better. Locations consulting. And of course, after your decision and after, let's say, picking up the proper plot, we can identify for you partners and suppliers for your factory. For example, Toyota has more than 700 partners in Poland, Volkswagen 150, etc. We are government organization, therefore we can facilitate all the contacts with local and central government. It's very important because we can speed up the full process of the investment, and of course we are very efficient in this help. For the prospective investment, we organize site visits. So dedicated project manager together with potential investor can visit several locations in Poland, discuss all the issues regarding the plot, and just support you in this. And afterwards, we can introduct you to any other organizations. We can organize B2B meetings, any technology providers, etc. Support building partnerships with institutions and innovation centers. And of course, we can render you all follow-up services post completion of the project. So can you switch to another? As our Center of Strategic Investments, part of our agency, we have a team of 16 consultants, very dedicated. They speak various languages, starting from English, Chinese to Czech, Slovak. Over, as I already mentioned, we have more than 850 already included offers in our centralized database of investment sites, and this includes both plots, warehouse and office space. Of course, based on your request, we can search for new one, and in this purpose, we contact local authorities in order to get more suitable plot for you. As regards our current digits, we are already working this year on 170 projects, currently active projects. We have already 25 years of experience in looking for investors in Poland. We already closed more than 850 projects in total value of 24 billion euro. As regards current projects, we do not observe drop in our, let's say, number of projects or value of these projects, which is more maybe specific for Poland, because Poland, as I will show you later, is maybe the leader in Europe as regards current decisions and, let's say, post-COVID decisions about investment. According to FDI data, we are #1. Of course, the number of investments is the highest in the UK. But if you take into account the number of people in UK and the number of people in Poland, we are #1. So as regards current projects, we support 29 projects from the USA, 21 from China, 18 from Japan, 17 from South Korea. This is number-wise, because value-wise, the biggest projects are in electromobility, and they are coming from South Korea and China. As regards top sectors, BSS is the biggest sector number-wise, but value-wise, electromobility, which we currently handle 24 projects, is the most valuable one. As regards projects, other projects which are interesting, recently has been made 2 decisions, even this year, two big American companies, Microsoft and Google, decided to invest in Poland, altogether more than $3 billion US. 1 billion will be invested by Microsoft and 2 billion by Google. They will make, let's say, Central Europe hub for IT, I mean, databases, cloud, and other related services, which make Poland top one, I think, in the region infrastructure place for IT development. So this is not mentioned, but I would like also to pinpoint, and these decisions has been made this year. So, and the second one, I mean, Google has been made like 1 month ago. So you can see that investors do not sleep and then, of course, invest in prospective countries. We switch. As regards Italian projects, we completed 24 projects. I mean, this is since 2004, altogether 880 million euro for 4,200 workplaces created. And we have now 6 Italian projects in our pipeline, which in value of over 360 million euro. And 900 workplaces projected. I must say that some projects, I mean, in a automotive sector, are, let's say, discussed. I would not say cancelled, but discussed due to COVID time. So we expect some big projects to happen, but not now, but after several months. And on the map, you can see the Italian companies, which you probably know very well, better than me. So this is our situation. Can you switch? As regards Poland, there are some big macroeconomic data which can give you an idea about Poland. So we are the 5th most populous country in the EU with 38 million inhabitants, and we are the largest country in the region. So if you compare to Slovakia or Czech, I mean, neighboring country which are competing for investment with us, we are much bigger market. Our GDP is 1.3 billion US, GDP per capita purchasing power parity 33,800 US dollars, and you see our exports value. Actually, they are a bit higher because the value of the services are not added, and the services exported from Poland amount to more than 25 billion euro. So we have 15 cities exceeding 200,000 inhabitants, which is also very important in the eyes of our neighbors all around, which usually compete as regards investment with Poland. We have very low budget deficit. Before this 46% debt to GDP ratio, of course, this was before COVID situation. But I must say that Poland is for consecutive 30 years a success story, because on average over these 30 years we have growth like 4% a year. So this year, of course, I will show later, we will be also affected by COVID. But we are generally on the growing path. And of course, our GDP ratio due to COVID situation will grow up, as we estimate, to 55%, which is still a very good number as compared to other European countries. And as regards FDI stock in Poland, it's more than 237 billion euro, which is comparing to our GDP about 40%. Below you have, of course, some general rates like Polish zloty exchange rate to euro. It's currently 4.5. Before COVID, it was 4.3. And the tax rates, which is base rate, is 19%, and decreased rates, depending on some criteria, 9.5%. VAT base rate is 23%. This was temporary, but it will kept, due to the situation, it will be kept like this. And for some merchandise like food, it's decreased rate like 8.5 or even 0%. Personal income tax, we have basically two rates, 17, 32%. Can you switch? This is how Poland behaves in COVID times. Before, as I mentioned before COVID, Poland was leader in inbound investment. This is according to most current FDI report 2020, which you can see on the FDI website. We have increase in FDI projects. This is very important because if you see the general trend, you probably know that worldwide it was noticed a drop like 15% in FDI, but Poland is still growing. So last year our FDI growth was 14%, which was the highest in Europe. So it also says a lot about possibilities, because foreign investors are very smart and they know very well where to invest. As I already mentioned, we have since 1990 the highest growth rate, on average 4%. And you see on the right side the map of projected drop in GDP, and we again are the least affected country in Europe, I must say. It's a pity to see such a drop among Europe. Of course, it is not. It doesn't depend on us. We will work to recover from this, and we do hope that this year, of course, we will notice this drop, the smallest in Europe as we expect. Last year, we do hope to rebound the situation and to be on a zero level. I mean, 4% plus, and 22 year we expect to grow. Can you switch? As regards human resources, I would say to say more about this, because usually the labor force is a key issue in investment. As you see the digits, almost 2/3 of Polish population are below 50. And almost 10 million Poles are under 25, which also gives a good prospect for the future. We have very low unemployment rate, 6%. This is current rate after this COVID situation, which stands for a little bit more than 1 million people unemployed. We have the largest inflow of foreign workforce in the EU. This is mainly coming. This foreign workforce came mainly from Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. They are very close with Poles as regards the mentality, so that's why they want to work in Poland. So we are, practically speaking, the largest recipient of labor force in Europe. Even we are before Germany. Below you have also mentioned the average monthly wage in Poland. This is 580, but this is for, let's say, a general rate for Poland, because in manufacturing is slightly higher. As you see, 1,100 approximately. It's the average monthly wage in manufacturing. It differs, voivodeship by voivodeship. You can see on the regions in Poland how the salary varies over specific regions. Generally, the eastern part of Poland is less developed than the western part, or the Silesia region, which you consider. The Silesian region is the most developed and the most industrialized area in Poland. Switch. As regards higher education, a very strong part of Poland is well-educated workforce. We have 20 universities, 28 technical, 37 economic, higher school 33, and more than 200 private institutions, more than 1 million students altogether, including 300K engineers, which gives a very good base for the future employment. And if you see the graduates, we have each year almost 30,000 graduates each year, so which gives a very good prospects for the labor market. And you see town by town how this is distributed all around Poland, which I must also stress, which is not mentioned on the slide. Polish IT guys are ranked number 3 in the world. We are very strong in this field. So after Russians, Chinese, Polish IT specialists are ranked number 3 in basic languages, IT languages. So we also, as I mentioned before, export a lot of services worldwide due to well-educated people in Poland. Can you switch? We have also, as regards our location, we are in very strategic location of the Europe, especially in this eastern part. So you can see we have 4 pan-European corridors, 35 intermodal terminals, 6 by sea, 29 by land, 2 trans-European transport networks, I mean road, rail, Baltic, Adriatic corridor, and North Baltic Sea. We have also connection with China through new Silk Road. So there is a way from Chengdu in China to Łódź, which is in the very center of Poland. This dot, not this described, but this is the very center of Poland. So we can also transport a lot of things from China by rail. We are also a Central Eastern European air travel hub. Before COVID, of course, that was 49 million of passengers. Due to the situation, of course, it dramatically changed. There's a big infrastructure project now underway to build a central air hub and also railway hub with 14 strings coming from the central of Poland. I mean, 14 strings coming to various directions, which will make Poland infrastructure, which will level the Polish infrastructure on a new highest point. As regards access to the freight transport, we have 4 large seaports. So you see the cargo turnover was, of course, this was also before COVID, almost at 94 million tons, and of course DCT terminal in Gdańsk, which is north of Poland. Can you switch? Here you can see some important data for the investors. What are the construction costs and what are generally the basic, let's say, investment costs. So depending on the region which you have on the map, we prepared for you basic data. So purchase of land is between 5 to 70 euro per square meter. Of course, it depends on the owner of the land. As regards construction of the standard warehouse, it's in a range of 300, 320 euro. Construction of light manufacturing, slightly above 400 euro. Manufacturing facility, 500. It will give you the level of, basic level of investments. and of course office space as part of industrial facility, 800 to 950 euro. Can you switch? As regards energy system in Poland, this is one slide with respect of renewable source, because frequently there are such questions. What are the possibilities? So you see the energy can be chosen from one of the following options: guaranteed origin system with green certificates in Poland. Then you have corporate PPAs, a direct contract between the energy producer and final consumer. And of course, you can invest in your own renewable energy sources, or of course, you can get some green products offered by various electricity providers. If you compare the prices among Europe, Poland is still among the lowest energy price, has the lowest energy levels in the EU. You can see on the chart our place. Can you switch? As regards incentives, of course, there are incentives given on the government level or on the local level, depending on the city, on the situation, and basically we can give you cash grants. Then this is of course depending on certain criteria for basically for large investment or innovative investment. Then the number of the investment is relatively smaller, and of course for R&D projects and some other training centers or service support centers. We can give also various types of tax incentives. There are incentives for research and development, like double counting of costs, like preferential rate instead of 19%, you have 5%, all coming from all the income from R&D rights. We can of course give you also preferential loans for all environmental projects and technological innovations, but this is for small and medium enterprises. And of course, this is also possible to obtain various equity contributions. And depending on the project, of course, I know that the majority of investors come with their own capital or idea how to capitalize the project. But there are also possibilities to participate in big projects from our Polish development group. Then you have summarized on the right side that we have nationwide incentives offered by the government. Basically, you apply for those incentives to Polish Investment and Trade Agency. You can, of course, obtain EU funds, from which you are probably familiar, because they are basically the same all around Europe. And of course, you can take international incentives, like international cooperation programs like Horizon 2020, Norway grants, etc., etc. These are below. You have key support areas which we like to support within our programs. So basically, there are all innovative projects that bring more added value to the Polish economy, and those projects are supported in the greatest extent. Okay, can you switch? Then you have the map of the maximum levels of support. This is actual map. It will be revised after 2022. And you have the regions which are, let's say, developed and less developed, and then the percentage of maximum support for large companies. since you regard the Silesian area, and this is more developed part of Poland, the most developed, so the rates of support are respectively lower. So I gave you also a small table. Of course, this is more detailed, and there are more criteria for calculation. But basically, region-wise, maximum level of support ranging from 10% to 50%. 10% is for Warsaw itself, and you have the maximum public aid million of euro. These are, of course, European criteria. So maximum support is without EU notification is 37.5 million euro. And incentives available for new investments, you have corporate income tax exemption between 10 to 15 years, and cash grants for strategic projects. Our investors take like 10, even 15% of the investment cost, which is quite significant support. And this is rendered on the national level through Polish Investment and Trade Agency. And then you can also obtain local incentives like real estate tax exemption after 5 years, or financial training support for local employment offices. I think more can say the president of the Silesian Special Economic Zone, Mr. Mateusz Rykała, later on. So I will not say more about this. And of course, all the EU funds for all innovative projects. Can we switch? You have also some entry criteria, which are, let's say, minimum for the strategic investments. For the big investments, minimum eligible cost is 160 million Polish zloty, which is roughly 35 million euro. Minimum employment 100 people, and maximum support. For innovative projects, you can start from as a minimum investment, start from the 7 million Polish zloty, which is less than 2 million euro, 1.6 million euro, and minimum employment 20 people. And this innovativeness must be confirmed by the ministry. So you describe your project, and this is confirmed in our ministry, and then you will receive a support. And for research and development project, the criteria are even lower, but starting from 1 million, which is 220,000 euros. So this is very low startup. Because of the COVID time, I must say that we are working on change of this criteria. I mean, easing and decreasing the entry levels. So, but of course, until they are not confirmed, I cannot say, but we are working on decrease due to the situation, this entry levels for the support. Can we switch? Just to summarize all the slides from our short presentation, we are very skilled labor market with 26 inhabitants under 25. We have largest inflow of foreign workflows in the EU, mainly from Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus. So we have big labor force for your factories. We have big internal market with 38. It's biggest country, the EU. And true, this is not, of course, for the Italian investors, but we, of course, for all other investors from all around the world, we have access to EU, we give access to EU market. We have very well-educated people, with, as I mentioned, 1.23 million students and more than 330,000 graduates each year. So this is a potential workforce for all of your investment. And we over the last several years, we developed very much our infrastructure. And we work on this very extensively, as I mentioned, even by those two big investments from Google and Microsoft exceeding $3 billion, which give you the idea that it's the right place to do a business. And of course, we have attractive incentives, as I mentioned before and this described. And of course, which is not the last argument, but in Poland, you have very nice business-friendly environment. I think you can ask people from Italian commerce, Chamber of Commerce, that they can say more about this, how is life in Poland. So thank you very much. This was the last slide of my presentation. For all details and of course requests regarding possible support from our side for possible investments, you can ask our strategic investment team. Please contact our Polish Investment Trade Agency. Our people from my team can give you more detailed information about any issues you may raise, can give you all the hints, can give you all advice possible, and we can support your potential investment in all possible ways according to our knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Słonkowski, for this very comprehensive presentation. I would like to give the floor now to Łukasz Górecki, Cluster Manager from Silesia Advanced Automotive and Advanced Manufacturing, to give a short presentation about Silesia as the right place for foreign automotive investments. Łukasz, the floor is yours.
Microphone.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Everything okay? Good, thank you. You can start.
Great. So good morning once again. Łukasz Górecki, Silesia Automotive Cluster and Advanced Manufacturing. Thank you very much for this very important data about Poland. It shows that this is for sure the right place to locate the investment. I just want to add some informations about Silesia region, because if you decide to invest in Poland, you need to take under consideration the most industrialized, the most developed area, like Silesia. So some key figures about our region: more than 70 cities very close each other create a metropolis with more than 4.7 million citizens. This region generates about 12% of Polish GDP. The biggest advantages of our region of Silesia is for sure the communications. As you see on the map, the conjunction of two highways, very good communications of railway and air also. This is for sure the biggest advantage of our region, very good location. Silesia is also one of the biggest educational center. More than 200 vocational schools and almost 40 universities. It gives us about 100 very good skilled people, about 100 students. One of the most well-known, the University of Technology, Silesia, with over 70 years of history, with about 22,000 students and 50 faculties. And something what is for sure very important for the companies that thinking to invest in Silesia region, the Katowice Special Economic Zone, the best special economic zone in Europe. About 400 companies trust us since 1996 and spend here in this region more than 8 billion euro and hire here more than 80,000 people. For sure, the tax incentives, so the public aid that is granted by Katowice Special Economic Zone on behalf of Minister of Economy is something what is important for our companies. About 45% maximum of the investment cost, the companies might support their business by public support. What is important, especially for the new investment from automotive, as you see on this graph, more than 60% of the total investment on this area is done by automotive industry, and for sure, the Silesia is the heart of automotive industry in this part of Europe. In our location, we have 2 car makers, and since about 300 kilometers, about 3 million cars is produced in this part of Europe. So for sure, this is the best place. If you are the company from automotive, if you produce the parts and components, it's the best place to locate your investment in this part of Poland, in Silesia. There are the 2 examples of our investment area. One of these in Katowice, in one big piece of land, more than 70 companies decide to build the plants. A very similar investment area in Tychy, where more than 40 companies in one big investment area. And the next incentives, I think very important, very active automotive cluster. Today, associate about 150 members, including about 100 companies from automotive. And we are still a lot of investment area for you. There are 2 examples of similar in the big investment area with free and waiting for you plots, Dąbrowa Górnicza, Tucznawa, and Zabrze investment area. If you're looking for the plots for your new investment, we find something for you, suit to you. Short summary, if we talk about Silesia, for sure this is the best place to invest because we are in the center of Europe. We are ready for you. We have very wide investment offered, plots, warehouses for lease. Very simple procedure to support your business with public aid. And the Katowice Special Economic Zone, so one-stop shop who help you with contact with hire companies, support recruitment process, building process, contact with local authorities, and the contact with the most important institutions like universities, technical schools. And something at the end, the most important, the Silesia cluster. If you finished, build your plant and you start your business in Silesia, you might exchange a good practice between the other automotive companies. If you have a problem, you might solve this problem on the workshops organized by cluster. You might building relationship with industry, technicals, and universities and other business support organizations. We help you because the cluster is created specially for automotive companies. This is the list of the companies that trust us and invest in Silesia region. My presentation was some kind of introduction. I think that the next 2 presentations of our cluster members, the companies that invest in our region a few years ago, will be the best proof that this is the best place to do in business, especially in automotive industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Łukasz. Luke, are you still with us?
Okay, so
probably.
Okay, so if Luke is not available,
Probably
maybe we will.
Has some problem with the internet connection. It happened before we were here before starting. So let me introduce our next speaker from next year, Automotive, that is Piotr Dębiński. Piotr, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So good morning, everyone. Once again, first of all, I have to say that it's really great that we can meet. Obviously, it's nice to meet one-on-one, but it's also great to meet on the webinars. I think that people especially from automotive industry, know that we very often have to adapt quickly to some unique conditions. And thank you to the organizers once again. It's a pleasure to be with you today. So I've been invited to give you a brief overview of our investment in Poland, or as I called it, our journey here. And I promised Łukasz that I will take 15 minutes, despite the fact that I usually talk a lot. Łukasz, you have my promise. I'll try to make it in 15 minutes. Before we will start talking about the next year Automotive Poland and our journey, I think it's fair to say and to give you just a short overlook of our company globally. So next year is a relatively young brand, 10 years on the market, but we have a long history as a company. Currently, we are based in Michigan, which is called the Automotive Center of US. Our revenue is around $4 billion right now, around 13,000 people and over 60 customers globally. If you can see the screen right now, unfortunately, I couldn't find a better picture because it's a picture from 1906 where our company started. So there were three gentlemen, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Church, and Wilcox, who probably at the glass of wine or whiskey decided that if there's a company next door called GM, then they might need some parts actually. So they thought of creating the steering for our company, and that's how it all started. And since then, we've come a really long way, because right now you can see this manufacturing footprint of our company. So it's almost 30 plants all over the world, including Tychy and Gliwice in Poland. And the product overview, I hope that most of you are aware that we mostly produce the power steering. This is our core product, around almost 80% of our business globally, and the main business here in Poland. And it includes the steering columns and I-shafts. We still do a little bit of hydraulic power steering. However, as you will see during the course of this presentation, the hydraulics generally in the automotive market are becoming the technology least important than electric. And we also focus quite a lot lately, also here in Poland, on ADAS and automated driving. ADAS stands for, as probably a lot of you know, Advanced Driving Assistance Systems, and the automated driving or autonomous cars is something that you hear probably a lot, not even if you're not in the automotive business. So when it comes to our history here in Poland, I think it's usually fair to say that and fair to remind that that's how Poland looked like in 1989, and you can see the car that revolutionized, I would say, our Polish citizens, or motorized them, thanks to actually the relationship with the Italian country. And that is Poland in 2020. So I think we've come a long way, and we did it really quickly in only 30 years to come from here to here. This slide actually includes a couple of stats that have been already presented by Mr. Grzegorz and by Łukasz. So I will just spend literally a minute here. Obviously, as you know, we have very good economic conditions. Now we are waiting how it will look like when it comes to COVID. However, still when you compare 2019 year to year to 2018, it's still the growth is quite high. Definitely for us as investor, the number of students and the economy and the technical universities is very important. So 1.2 million students currently. Special economy zones, I will talk a little bit more in the next slide, but this is definitely a significant support. And I have to say that we as a company, we are experiencing it from the very, very beginning, whether it comes to the first projects we've had up to the current projects that I'll be talking about a little bit later. This is a very valuable support anytime actually. And generally as a Poland, we usually well manage during the tough economic conditions. We did it well during the global crisis in 28, 29. Well, let's see how it will look like when it comes to this current tough conditions. I truly hope and I believe that our country and we as investors will do our best to at least be in a well position to continue the businesses. And when it comes to Silesia region, a lot of us call it the heart of automotive manufacturing Poland. And I think we can compare it to Michigan in US. Indeed, when it comes to the manufacturing competencies and the plans that we have, whether these are OEMs or suppliers like next year, we're very strong here. And I always underline and highlight the impact of Katowice Special Economy Zone. We have a great relationship. And as I said before, this is a very, very valuable support for us anytime. I would like just to mention some of the benefits that we see when it comes to being the part of whether it's a cluster, whether it's a support from KSSE or any other associations also like PAI. So obviously grants and incentives. It's not easy, obviously, to get all the incentives that we usually ask for. However, we have received significant support, significant financial support, even lately for the R&D investments. And this is definitely one of the main benefits that we see as an investor. We attend key Polish automotive conferences. So when you're a part of the Polish Association of Automotive Industry or the Polish Chamber of Automotive Industry, it's a great, usually, platform to exchange our experiences and also a great chance to present ourselves in front of the other competitors or our partners. We also get the support in conducting the state administration bodies. So when you think about ministries, when you think about, for example, grants or incentives or any key decisions that have to be taken when it comes to new investments, this is definitely a big support for us. Also, when it comes to technical regulations, HR, and as I said, grants and incentive submissions itself, I mean, this is something that we really benefit from. And also the best practices meetings. I can give an example of Silesia Automotive and Advanced Manufacturing. We used to meet a lot actually before in some more major or more minor products. I'm sorry. And this has always been a great, actually great base for exchanging the experiences. So how did we, as next year, come from there? And here you can actually see the building that I'm sitting right now. When it was built, it was 1997. And I would like to highlight also the great fashion of the 90s, as you can see here, this beautiful, colorful suits that are fortunately no longer here. And here's actually the beginning on this picture of us as a company. That's the first crew that we've had. And we came to here, so you can see a modern manufacturing plants, including the technical center. You can see that we're organizing big events for our customers and that we have really modern and efficient first product lines for such customers as BMW, FCA, and PSA. So a brief history when it comes to us. We started in 1998, and already at that time we got and we received very well support from the Polish government. At that time we were called Delphi, which is Delphi is still in the game. However, at that time it was the steering division of Delphi, which then changed in 2010 into next year. And the first products we manufactured were for these wonderful road beasts. This is Daewoo Lenos and Opel Astra. And when I was showing you the Fiat 126P at one of the first slides that motorized the Polish citizens in the 70s and 80s, I would have to say, and I will dare to say, that Daewoo Lenos and Opel Astra that were actually assembled in Poland were these kind of vehicles that motorized us in the 90s. So I think, and they are still on the road, and I'm happy to see them because you can see that they still steer in the right direction, not being humble here, but also thanks to us. So 2006, we have started new operations in Gliwice. So both plants, Tychy and Gliwice, are obviously working together very close to each other. Gliwice is more related to our cooperation with currently PSA, and I mean Opel as a brand, and Tychy more to the FCA. FCA as a part of PSA, obviously. 2007, 2009, these were kind of a milestones for us because we have started manufacturing electric power steering for such vehicle as Fiat 500, and then for Citroën, the Fiat 500 is a enormous success, and I'm happy to say that, especially as we meet with our Italian friends today, this vehicle is still in the business. So you can see that it will be like over 14 or 13 years of the vehicle lifetime, which is not very common. 2013, that was kind of a breakthrough also for us because we started with the new generation of steering system for BMW, which was actually the system for their first fully electric vehicle. One of the characteristics of the steering product is that it has to be very, very quiet. The noise, vibration, and harshness, as we call it, and VH has to be the state of the art. So you can imagine that for a fully electric vehicle, which is very quiet, also the steering has to be very quiet. So that was a big challenge. However, our Polish engineers, obviously together with our colleagues from the corporate in US, created a great product, and that actually ended up with the fact that for now we are manufacturing over 50% of steering for the whole BMW company. And 2016, we have built a new plant and also started as we call it, the Tychy Engineering Center. So actually here you can see the full range of the vehicles that we are providing our systems to. So the brands are FCA, Citroën, Opel, BMW, and Peugeot, also from the small city cars to larger vehicles, especially when it comes to BMW. I think that's a pretty solid portfolio right now. However, to create such systems, to design them, and then to produce them, you obviously need a strong R&D base. And actually next year, Poland, as most of the companies and most of the suppliers at that time, was rather assembly unit, and especially in the 90s and the beginning of 2000s. But then our company decided to invest more and more in R&D. So first of all, we had this R&D center in North America, then in China, and right now the European Technical Center is in Tychy, here in our region. And this obviously gives us completely different conditions for both working with our clients on current programs, but also creating prototypes and building new solutions for the future products. So I'm not going to get maybe into the details of the whole machinery that we have here, but you can see that it's on the right hand pictures. You can see that we have actually right now we have the full R&D capabilities. We have the prototype center. Then we have our validation laboratory with the prototype shop, the electrical lab, and I think all possible durability validation machines. And on the top of that, we have a test track that we decided to build next to our plant. Maybe it's not a Monza in Italy. However, it lets us actually test like 90% of the stuff that our engineers need to test when it comes to noise, vibration, harshness. So actually all this combined, the technical center, including the test track, actually puts us in a position where we can tell our customer right now that here in Tychy in Poland, we have the full offer to give them a product that they really need, whether it's a current project, its development, or a new project. So probably a lot of you have heard quite a lot about the fact that the automotive business is getting much more electrified than it was before. And hence I made this question, why are we as Nexteer becoming software focused rather than only mechanical or assembly, if you will, company? So these are a couple of actually stats that I've prepared just to show you where the automotive market is and why we keep developing our engineering skills and why we keep investing in our R&D facilities. So the software, as I said, is growing. According to our analysis, in 2030, the software will account for 40% of the vehicle values. So you can see 2015, according to us, it was like 10% software. It was mostly the embedded software and the infotainment systems that you could find in the cars. But 2030 is going to be much more the ADAS. So the things that I mentioned, the automated driving assistance systems like the park assist or the compensation assist, the lane keeping assists, they'll be in it. The electric powertrain, which is actually a huge challenge for some of the companies that are in the business doing the powertrain products. Then will be the battery management, the cybersecurity, which is a big thing, the OTAs and the services. Obviously, that would have to be all combined well when it comes to electric control units. And it's also our, supplier's role right here to create a product that will be easily applicable to this, I would say, big computers that will be on the roads, are or will be on the roads pretty soon. It's also important when it comes to the software because as far as the automated driving, as I said, landscape is changing. As some of you may know, we have these 5 levels of automated driving. The level 1 is just the driver has the control. Then we come up to the level 3, which the driver is a necessity, but and it's not required to monitor the environment. And then we go to level 4 or 5. So there's not anymore on the not yet on the roads, where we are going to the high or full automation. And from our experience, I have to say, despite a lot of media guys, the journalists say that it's very, very close, the fully automated cars. Well, it's not that easy. It will take a bit more time, also because of the legislation in Europe and in particular countries in Europe. Because this is, I think, the technology is not a huge problem. I think the biggest problem is the legislation. So we need to wait and see when we'll be able actually to put the the cars on the road when it comes to their autonomous level. So this is actually our answer for those needs of the automotive industry and the automated driving. So I'm not sure if you will be able to actually see the animations here. However, one of our key developments right now that we're also working on here in Poland is the steer-by-wire. So for over 100 years, usually there has been a mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the wheels, or the rack and then the wheels itself. The steer-by-wire actually changes the game, and a lot of us and also the OEMs, our customers, say that this is going to be a kind of a revolution, as it was with the electric power steering when it hit the market around 20 years ago. The other thing is, when we have our prototype autonomous vehicles, we came up with already awarded solution called the quiet wheel steering. So usually when you see an autonomous car and it steers itself, the steering wheel is moving. With our solution, it doesn't, so it gives a lot of new abilities to, first of all, it enhances safety, but it also gives abilities for some infotainment systems, because the steering wheel just goes into the dashboard and it doesn't move. Steering on demand, that's a quite important thing, especially when it comes to taking over the steering wheel manually when the car is in the autonomous mode. So you can imagine that you're in a curve and you have to take the control very rapidly. So with our systems, you just pull the steering wheel and you are able to drive it. High availability APS, that's just another version of our or development of our electric power steering systems. And cybersecurity, that's a huge topic actually right now, because you can imagine that if the cars will be connected into a network and additionally they are connected to the internet, and it already happens, then they could be easily hacked. So we have a separate group of engineers in US right now that are working on the cybersecurity and making sure that these vehicles will work well. So obviously, as I said, the software plays a significant role in the cybersecurity, the new types of steering systems and other advanced solutions. And just to show you the example on how advanced the software is right now, on this graphic, you can see this Columbia Space Shuttle that had 4,000 lines of code. Then our electric power steering currently, it's 4.3 million lines of code when it comes to programming. And the steer-by-wire system will be 13.5 million of code. So I think that's a significant change, and you can see why we are actually investing in the software right now. One of the important things is that currently we have a vehicle that can actually avoid the collision itself. And it's also obviously, that's just an example to show you how software can help when it comes to safety of our customers on the road. Connectivity is another thing here when it comes to software and the things that we are working on. So there are, let's say, three phases of the development of the automotive world. First is the automated driving. So the cars will have sensors and will be connected to the GPS. But then the next phase is that we will have cars connected in the networks or net, so that, for example, they are coming to a crossroad and they see or hear each other, and they avoid the collision. The third one will be the infrastructure that is supposed to be connected with the vehicles, the network of vehicles, and then the infrastructure itself. So you can see the complexity of these solutions, and it will have to be well managed thanks to software. So when it comes to us as Next Year, you can see that in 2010, when it comes to investment in the engineering, technical talent and competencies, it was about 20% versus mechanical, and 2020 it's almost 50%, and we will definitely grow. But to grow, obviously, we have to invest in the infrastructure, and I believe it's the first time that I have a chance to publicly show the plan for our new investment in Tychy. So the building that you see right now is the project of our brand new technical center that we are planning to build in the upcoming years. For now, it has been a little bit postponed due to the COVID situation. However, we still are sure that we want to, for now, we are sure that we want to invest in R&D, and that is a good proof of it, and that's a little bit different perspective. And we have a kind of affirmation regarding what I've just said, that COVID will not prevent the next year team members from winning the long game, and winning the long game for us is the development of the company, our products, including the software, as I said. So with that, I would like to thank you once again for the invitation. I'll be happy to answer any questions now or later, or on the email. And I will give the microphone back to Luke or to Łukasz. Thank you.
Yes, I'm back. Thank you very much, Piotr. Sorry for being out for just a while, because my internet provider has put off my internet, so I had to find a new connection, but I'm back in the game. So now it's time for Piotr Słowik from NGK Ceramics to present his experiences from the point of view of NGK as a Japanese company, being in Poland for a very long time already and still investing. Piotr, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Would like to share with you, give me a second. Oh yes. I will share with you my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, it's on.
Yes.
First of all, good morning, everyone. I would like to apologize because there's supposed to be Mr. Hijikata, but as usual, he has some meeting now, and unfortunately, he had to resign. Sorry for this. I will speak about the NGK. Some of you already know our company. For those who don't, I will present the brief information about NGK. We are coming, the NGK Insulators, that's the original name of the company, was established in 1919 in Japan. So as you imagine, last year we celebrated 100 years of our existence. So actually it's an old company. Its headquarters, it's in Nagoya, and the current president is Mr. Tako Oshima. We have outside of Japan, we have 60% of employees, as you see. In Poland, we established our company in 2003. The name is NGK Ceramics Polska, and the current president is Mr. Hijikata, who was the first, maybe not president, but first person from Japan who came here and started activity on behalf of NGK Insulators. This is our location in Gliwice. The previous picture, one of the pictures shown by Mr. Łukasz was very nice, and there was NGK. This is only closer look to our current location, but not covering every facility we have in Gliwice, because on the right side, supposed to be also the new building of sensor production. We started some time ago, but actually in the center you have the main building which was the start of our activity in Poland, but that time it was only one building, and now as you see there are 3.5. We are producing the black SiC DPF filters used for diesel engines. Then we built another facility at the end of our plot that was a LSH, large size honey ceram, different products from cordiorite used for the rather big cars like buses or as a part of the exhaust system for heavy trucks. Then we constructed another facility producing cordialite products. GPF means filters, the same function as made of silicon carbide, but GPF and cordialite, and also GPF, which is the new product now. This is the filtering unit used for gasoline engines, which is something new, but now becoming very popular. And all the time, in 2012, we started sensor production. Still, we are producing on the first floor of the big building, but 2016, we launched new facility, not visible here, the new factory. What was the reason to invest in Poland? I will repeat what was many times said by our management, especially from Japan, that the reasons to construct, to build and start activity in Poland by NGK, it was the easy access to European market. Some of our customers are located in Europe, and intention of NGK management was to create in Europe production factories and delivering the products to the only European market, which that time was growing and very promising in spite of the diesel engines. Then, of course, public aid and access to the qualified employees, especially engineers. We have a big advantage compared to the other location, which was many times emphasized by the management. With stable supply of utilities and stable price of electricity, this condition is changing recently, but that time it was one of the very big advantage. And excellent support of local authorities and special economic zone management, thanks to which we successfully managed to introduce many of our projects and ideas. As you see, already mentioned, we started 2003. That time there was no company. We started, I mean, there was a company, but not buildings. We started to build, and within 1 year, we were able to finish the finish the construction of the first building. And 2004 in November, the first products in the first products made in Gliwice, we delivered to our customers. 2005, we did the second building, next third and the fourth, and there was a financial crisis. Some of you probably already suffered as we, but fortunately it was short, and I remember very soon we started to recover. Then sensor production 2012 and 2013 we started, there was a launch of production, then cordialite, GPF, and so and so. About Dąbrowa, because there was a decision in 2014 about increase the production due to the big demand for diesel engines, which only happen in Europe. So decision about the second plant. And we started to discuss what will be the best location for us. The main factor was that should not be so far from existing company, that we will be able to share our production forces and to connect, to transfer the technology and start sooner than normally because of availability of qualified personnel. And of course, we wanted also to separate that the problems related to area will not impact the other factory. That's why with the big aid from special economic zone and the local authorities, we were able to decide and find the location in Dąbrowa Górnicza. That's why we are, I'm proud to say, the first investor in Tucznawa. And 2018, diesel scandal impacted a little our production, but not so much. Now we are recovering, and even I should say that it's in our favor, because the scandal showed that the producers need to focus on the better fulfilling the standards requirement. That's why our products helping them to achieve the sometimes very severe expectations about the environment protection and pollution coming from the engine combustion cars. About our challenges, this is important to say that for Japanese company, it was not so easy to start the activity in Poland. Local culture definitely is very different than their current experience, despite the fact that they made the investment in Belgium. But in Poland, it was a little bit different. They and we also, as well Polish staff, we were learning together for many years how to cooperate and smoothly manage such a big organization as we have. We introduced the dojo training system. This is what I would like to share with you, because we faced 2007-8, we faced the problem that many people from our organization started to look for different challenges. They wanted to have another kind of experience, to work somewhere else, thinking that working all the time for NGK will not allow them to gain new life experience and somehow limit their future. That's why we made the internal school having the principle to share some knowledge with our people and also allow them to sense that they can learn something else without leaving the NGK. We are trying all the time maintain the good relation with our employees. First of all, which for since many years it's our key message about the safety first culture, zero accidents. So we are very proud that our actions in regards of the safety, they are very well known by our people, and which is confirmed by every year satisfaction surveys. They are emphasizing that the safety is very high, safety level is very high in our company, which are they appreciating a lot. We are also focused on the environment and production. We are trying to be competitive in regards of salary in the local market, which is not so easy. Stable employment, what we are offering in communication, giving us all the time everlasting problems, but I think that I expect that it's not only for us. And creating the unique culture, showing the respect for everyone in our company. Some safety rules, some activity, I don't want to bother you, but actually we are paying a lot of attention to the safety, to the efforts towards the environment protection, which is also important from the point of the international philosophy we have as NGK, which mainly as a company is producing the products for environment protection. So that's why it became one of our principles, and we are continuing this way, which obviously bringing us the benefits. About the Dąbrowa, some pictures from Dąbrowa. The decision of the management board in Japan, the headquarters, was to create completely different company than we have in Gliwice. There are some technological projects assuming that we will be able to reduce the working operators by 70%. Of course, it's not happening now, as this is the long way, but actually there is a big difference in technology which we are using in Dąbrowa. However, we are still producing the same product which is produced up to now, until now in Gliwice. The technology level is very high, and the autonomy which we are going to introduce is making the production in Dąbrowa completely different. It also changed our approach to the recruitment and expectations from the staff we are hiring in Dąbrowa. But thanks to the feature of Poland, which is offering in the labor market excellent people with very good skills and also education, we were able to successfully start the production, and up to now we are increasing all the time our production numbers. Some information that which also impacted a lot our profits, that Poland and Japan signed the agreement thanks to which from 1st of February 2019 we started to enjoy zero duty for some of our raw materials or semi-finished products we are importing from Japan. That was a very big impact. And the advantages which we would like to present, that European location, as I mentioned at the beginning, it was designed to deliver the products to the European customers. However, the trends in the demand, they are mostly fastest visible in Europe, also in advanced market, and that's why the difference in demand is now more visible in Europe, where the electric cars, which are not needing our products at the moment, they are more popular than other part of the world. That we started to export our products for Asia, United States, and other locations, not only Europe. But anyway, still Europe is a very important player on the market. The Silesia, very well presented in the slides from Polish investment agency and also from Łukasz, they are showing that Silesia is a particularly good location for any kind of business. First of all, excellent structure, road access, connections with railway makes that this location is very good for commuting. We were comparing many times possibilities in the other places in Poland, and Silesia is winning in this field, definitely. Our friends coming from Warsaw or other big cities, they are complaining about the commuting, indicating that we are happily to live in Silesia. Access to the labor market, excellent in Silesia, a lot of people, highly educated, also IT guys, which are indeed now very, very appreciated, because as everywhere probably else, we are also paying big attention to the software, and we have a lot of the software created for our needs. Now it's around 200 homemade software, helping us every day and improving our efficiency and every duties. Also the power of the NGK group. We are taking care about technology. Our products, they seems to be easy as ceramic blocks, but their production is very complicated and not so easy to everyone. Thanks to the protection of the technology and some unique features, we are able to be now the very important player on the market of ceramic products used for combustion processing, and and this advantage we would like to keep also all the time developing new products and thinking about the future, what we will be able to deliver to the automotive customers. Kind support from local authorities and the special economic zone helped us to solve many problems. In Poland, we suffered a lot of the difficulties in regards mainly to the environment protection, permissions, emissions, limits, but thanks to the cooperation with local authorities and special economic zone, we were able to solve all of them, and as you see now, we are in the good shape. Stable utilities and qualified Japanese translators helping our people to find their place in the local society. We have we have now around 60 people from Japan staying all the time in our company. The big challenges. This is about the labor market, and 2 years ago started the race about the salary increases. This is impacting seriously our profits, but probably a lot of the companies in Poland, they have the same. And also some changes in regards to the law, but this is beginning, and actually I hope that everything will be better translated, and we will be able to manage to introduce all the necessary legal changes. Increase of energy costs impacted seriously also our budget. And now COVID situation changed, especially labor market. Of course, we were suffering the changes in the demand, but also must say that the pandemic improved a lot some of the things which before we were thinking they are not possible to introduce. The people, the employees, now they are informing us that our efforts, not appreciated before, they are very well recognized by them, and their evaluation of NGK as a working place is very high. We are very happy to hear it. And also we change a lot in regards to the communication, to the documents flow. So I think that from every situation we will be able to take something which gives us some possibility to learn something new, and also possibility to improve what we can. That's all from my side. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Piotr. This was a very nice presentation. You showed all the aspects of being in Poland, not only the beautiful side, but also the challenges and the way an international company is dealing with these challenges. That is very positive. Now it's time for questions answers. So I would like to give the floor to our participants and our international guests. Are there any questions on this moment? Would you like to share your opinions, your ideas, or have a question? You can raise your hand through the Zoom connection. You can use the chat, or also I can ask you to participate in the discussion. I see several people from abroad. Is there somebody who wants to raise the first question, please? Feel free to raise your question. Okay. Maybe I can ask Mr. Riccardo Martucci what is his impression, for instance, about the presentations of the two companies. Is it really convincing to see how Silesia, how Poland is an area for investments? What are here the opportunities?
Hello, Mr. Palman. Thank you for your question about my impression. I really think that, yeah, Silesia nowadays, as it's considering is the second most important special economic zone in the world, and the first is Europe, is really the best place for international companies to develop new, let's say, industrial activities and bring more closer to Europe all the production side that today are, of course, in the Far East Asia or anywhere else in the world, because shortening the supply chain, the value chain is bringing for sure more value for the company, and most probably more opportunities to develop the business all over the Europe.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for your contribution. When we saw the presentations, we heard about changes in technologies. We heard about the change from mechanical technologies to software. Especially here, my question to Piotr Dębiński, because probably it's very important that you have local partners, that you have local suppliers, and also connection to technical schools and universities, because if we talk about new technologies, you also need new competencies. How next year is dealing with this issue to make sure that the local suppliers follow up with these technological changes, and also that you have this close connection with the universities?
So when it comes to our suppliers, obviously we are trying to diversify pretty much our supplier base. I think especially the COVID situation showed us that we really have to be in the regions. And I don't know, Mr. Słowik, if you will actually confirm this, that especially when you have suppliers from the other part of the world, in situations like COVID, for example, it becomes really hard to get the components if you don't have more local suppliers, right? So that's one of the main things that we're trying to do, is to diversify and localize the supplier base. Obviously, there are a lot of factors that are in the way to do this. We, for example, have a lot of Chinese suppliers that are very good from the standpoint of quality and from the price. However, if you face situations like this, and if you add the costs related to the transportation, to the logistics, then it makes sense to localize this. When it comes to the universities, obviously Politechnika Śląska or Akademia Górniczo-Hutnicza in Kraków. In Kraków, these are the main sources of our, I would say, technology skills at next year. However, I have to say that when we started creating the technical center, it turned out that the market, especially for electronic engineers, is very, very small. And we were even looking at electronic engineers from Hungary or Slovakia or Czech or Romania. It's really hard to get these, especially skilled and more experienced people. When it comes to the students, I think that it's a confirmation of what you gentlemen said. That's a great base for us, actually, when it comes to the skills and to new employees. However, then it obviously takes time to have a graduate on a level that he can get into the project and work as an individual.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Peter Martindale is with us today. Peter, can you tell us which company or organization do you represent, and what are your impressions after having heard these presentations?
Hello, thank you. We're a family company looking at into the automotive field. As it happens, the family used to have cotton mills in Łódź 100 years ago. So we have some experience from manufacturing in Poland, albeit under very different political circumstances and what have you. Silesia certainly looks very interesting. It was good to hear from the two main companies and their experiences and the positive enthusiasm for the area. It was very important to understand how Silesia is such a focal point for industrial production.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. I see also that Mr. Peter Prokop is with us. Peter, can you tell us what organization are you representing?
So, hi, I'm Peter Prokop. I'm owner of a company which called Gift Management Consulting, and we are providing mostly the automotive industry with interim managers and experts. Mm-hmm. So in West and East Europe.
Mm-hmm. What is your impression about after having heard these presentations? Do you see among your ecosystem of contacts with automotive companies, suppliers, opportunities to invest in Silesia, and is Silesia an area for investments?
Definitely, because I came to the today to your webinar too late, but I know Paul already from the consulting point of view for maybe 20 years, since middle of 90s, and we recommend actually many companies to go to Poland, and we make some analysis comparing Poland with Romania, Czech Republic, Slovak Republic, and so on, and Poland was always a very good place to start production. So I think you are on the right way to go forward. And what's more, the situation what we have today remember me a little bit on the 90s, because I see in the market a movement for shipping the production from Germany to Middle East Europe again. But what will happen, what will be different, they are not looking so much for just manual work. They are expecting also to use more robots and Industry 4.0 also in this region.
Yes. This is also one part we heard from our colleagues from the Czech Republic, where new investments take place, also current activities with a higher rate of robotization, automatization. So not only it is important to have the traditional employee, but especially like Piotr said, the engineers, the IT specialists, and so on. With us is also Vamshi Krishna Dasari. I'm not sure if you can say something or want to say something, but the floor is yours. Please, if it's possible to share your impressions about today's meeting with us, be so kind to share with us. Is it possible? Okay, we will leave this open. Maybe if you have the opportunity to connect with us, you can still take part in the discussion. I think we had a very good overview about the grant opportunities, the support programs, the administrative aspects of preparing new investments in Poland, in Silesia. It was also many times underlined that the special economic zone is an important partner, also the local governments. As such, it is also the question and the opportunity to get into contact with the Katowice Special Economic Zone. In the framework of the Special Economic Zone, we have the cluster Silesia Automotive and Advanced Manufacturing. It's a cooperation platform. Also, Mr. Piotr Dębiński talked about it. It's a platform for, on the one hand, good practice exchange, on the other hand, for common projects and also problem solving. So local suppliers, organizations can cooperate with new investors on common projects and initiatives. Maybe also from the side of our partners from Italy, is there somebody from our Italian partners who would like to comment on the presentations you have seen today and the offer of Silesia as a place for investment?
Luke.
Yes.
I think that it's important to underline that the presentation we saw today showed that Poland is not only a mechanical hub with all technologies and whatever, but Poland is a place where the big players in automotive are investing with their best technologies. So there is the whole story about the mechanical sector in Poland is changing. We are in the line of the new updated technologies in the world. So people that come here, companies that come here to invest can find anything they need at the maximum level of automotive technology. I think that is very important to underline because in my opinion, is not so well known at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Especially when we take a look at what are the opportunities, because often when we have also the contacts with external companies, and it's the question about local technical support, supporting new technologies. That's also why our cluster has these 28, almost 30 suppliers of automation, robotics, informatics. That's why we have this close cooperation for concrete projects and also with the university. So it also was underlined by Piotr Dębiński. If we need people with competences in informatics, electrical engineering, and so on, there's a close cooperation with universities to set new training programs. So in a short period of time, it's possible just to gain new competencies. We also have this local or regional, you can say, training center. It's called EMT Systems. It trains operators and engineers in new technologies. It trains about 8,000 people a year. So also investors preparing new personnel for their projects have close contact to this kind of training centers to prepare their personnel for the new investments. Are there any other questions on the moment? Maybe from Franco Lomonaco, Fabrizio Cosi. Are there any questions from your side, or you want to share your opinion about this meeting?
For me, all okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, are there any other questions on the moment? I think we have had a very good overview of the opportunities in Silesia and in Poland. The presentations, or let's say the current presentation, is being recorded. So the summary of today's meeting will be accessed by the organizers to the participants. There will also be a follow-up from the side of the organization, which is the Italian Chamber of Industry and Commerce here in Poland. So I give the floor back to Piero for the final word.
Thank you, Luke. And thank you very much to our guests. I think that today we had a very high-level webinar with very valuable informations, and we saw that Poland is the right place to invest from USA to Japan, because our witnesses were one from United States and the second one from Japan. So we are here, our network, the chamber, the special economic zone, PIKE, the Silesian cluster are here to answer to all your questions. So thank you very much for our speakers, and thank you very much to our participants, and the road to IABM will continue soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I've seen